Hey everybody, it has been a couple of days since the Woodlands Half Marathon, and so I wanted to come on and do a little bit of a race recap, talk race strategy, how I executed the race, and how I got my sub 2 half marathon. Let's first talk why sub 2. My very first half marathon was a 2:03:45 or something like that, 42. And then after that, I had a lot of stuff happen. I had a really bad IT band injury. I moved, my heart rate was all over the place. And last year at the Woodlands Half, I ran a 2:03:12, which was my first PR since that very first half marathon, which was in 2022, I wanna say. This year, especially after Berlin not going how I wanted it to, I just knew like sub 2 was it. Like that's what I wanted. And the bigger picture is that eventually I do want to get fast enough to qualify for Boston on my own. We got to keep working on getting faster. And so that sub 2 benchmark is really important in my brain in terms of now working on my marathon time to get it lower towards that sub 4 benchmark, which we will eventually get to. So that is why my goal was sub 2. I ran the Woodlands Half in 1:58:42. So let's talk about how I did it. When I woke up on Saturday morning, I got up around 4:45, I want to say. My Uber was scheduled for 5:45 and the race started at 6:50. My stomach was not happy. I ate my typical Cheerios as I was getting ready and had little sips of water. Was able to get over to the start line, no problem. And then basically for the next hour before the race started, I was just like walking, going to the bathroom, walking back, go to the bathroom at a different bathroom, walk over here, found a Starbucks to go to the bathroom in. I think I went to the bathroom maybe like 3 or 4 times. And honestly was having some stomach cramps right before the race, which made me very nervous that like something was gonna get thrown off. Luckily, my stomach was not an issue at all once the race started. I took a Never Second C30 regular gel about 15 minutes before the race started, got into my corral and did my typical warm-up stuff, took off my long sleeve that I had on, and we were ready to start racing. Now, let's talk race strategy. I typically like to negative split a race. That's how I have done most of my races, and that was also the plan here. So a 9:09 average pace would have gotten me like 2 hours flat. So I knew I wanted to be closer to a 9-minute average for the race because the courses tend to be a little bit longer than an exact 13.1. And I wanted to allow myself some little wiggle room for, I knew there was a hill at mile 5. And if I wanted to stop at any of the water stops, I wanted to give myself some wiggle room. So I wanted to be a 9-minute average for the entire race. I used the pacer feature on my watch. I have a Aquarius Pace 3. And then I'm standing in the corral waiting for the race to start. And all of a sudden, the 2-hour pacers just like pull up right in front of me. And I typically don't follow pace groups because I like to like do my own thing. But something in my brain just said like, stick with them. And that's what I did. So my negative split plan pretty much went out the window. Like I really wanted to start at like a 9:10, 9:15, ease into the race. But we were off right on pace right away. First 3 miles, 9:05, 9:06, 9:06. The pace group was like maybe 10 feet in front of me. 30 minutes in, I took a C30 Plus, which is a caffeinated gel. Also, this whole time I'm carrying my handheld with me. It's an 18-ounce insulated handheld from Nathan. I have water in it and 1 scoop of Runway Salty Carbs, which is 30 grams of carbs and 700 milligrams of sodium. So first 3 miles in, felt really good, felt really controlled. Miles 4, 5, and 6. Now, because I ran this race last year, I knew that midway through, especially mile 5, there was a pretty sizable hill. Mile 4 was 9:02. Mile 5 was 9:14. That's where that hill was. And then mile 6 was 9:01. It was kind of nuts because at this point, like I was right up with the pace group and I was feeling pretty darn good. Like the miles were just clicking off. The sun was starting to come out a little bit. So I think around mile 6, 7 is when I like pulled my sunglasses down. I will say, I don't know if it was the waterproof mascara I put on or I did put on like moisturizer with sunscreen. Something got in my eyes early on and my contacts were blurry the entire race. We hit the halfway point. I'm looking at my watch, like just perfect pacing. The back half though is where things got challenging. I would say miles 7, 8, and 9 are always the hardest for me in a half because you're halfway there, but then you still have half to go. But I will say, like, sticking with the pace group, this is where it paid off. Mile 7 was 9:03, mile 8 was 9:01, and mile 9 was 9:03 again. I think somewhere around here I took another gel. This is where I wish I would have done like uncaffeinated, caffeinated, caffeinated, uncaffeinated, because I feel like I could have used a little bit of extra caffeine towards the end. We were in the sun more, things were getting more challenging, holding this pace, like I was starting to worry that I wasn't gonna be able to hold it until the very end. It was one of those moments where I was like, okay, what can I do to like help myself mentally? So I did put my AirPods in, I started listening to music. And somewhere around mile 9, 10, I was like with the pace group, I was a little ahead of them, then I'd be like with them again, I'd be a little ahead of them. But somewhere in those miles, I just remember seeing this guy next to me who had a bright blue shirt on. And he just like seemed really solid. We were like about the same height, we had the same stride, and we did not talk to each other, we did not look at each other. We just somehow like locked up together and we're just running side by side. And we stayed that way for the rest of the race. I was running even splits. I knew I was under 2. And so I just kept telling myself like, no more, no less. Like you don't have to give any more than what you're giving. You can just stay at the same pace and you will hit your goal. So mile 10 was 9:03. Mile 11 was 8:57. Mile 12 was 8:59. Mile 13 was 8:34. At that point, I was right on the edge. And then I crossed the finish line. I stopped my watch and I looked down and it said 1:58:47. My official time is 1:58:42. We're a sub 2 half marathoner and it's very exciting. I mean, I would love to run another half, I don't know, maybe early fall before we start training for Houston, and try to, inch it down a little bit more, try to go more like 1:55. That would be really fun. I'm really, really happy with how this race went. I feel really confident about, my race planning, executing my times, and my pre and post like fuel and hydration plans. And now we can add our medal up on our wall and add our bib to our bib collection back here. Let me know if you have questions. Like and subscribe. Check out all my favorite products that are linked down below. And if you're new to my channel, go check out other race vlogs, as well as I have like all of my training vlogs saved in different playlists for you to check out. And I will see you next time, so stay tuned.